So he sends his apologies. Yes, let me start with the board. Our board has changed, has grown, so it's a great thing. Yes, we've had some changes on our board. We have new people and fresh energy on our board. We have Mark Bradley here, who is currently our vice president. Our senior board member at this time.
Senior?
Yes, senior only as a board member. Then we have Sally Tannenbaum here, and she is our secretary, and she joined in 2015, no, 16, so last year, so very new. And thank you, Sally. Let's give Sally a round of applause. All right, let me see. Now, Kate Deutsch-Bergner has been with us for almost 3 years now. And now, of course, Ella too is here, so there's two of you. And yes, round of applause. And let's see, there she is. Where was she? Doris Finney also joined in 2016. So another very new board member. We're missing Greg Journey, our treasurer currently, and a long-time board member, and he's done all sorts of things for us. He also works. Some of us have to do that, and so he couldn't get away. He had a work engagement at UCSB, so he also sends his regrets. Couldn't make it. Ending with myself. Larry, we're missing Larry. That's right. Where's Larry? He should have been here. Larry Bickford. Thank you, Sally. I'm glad you reminded me. Okay. Joined in 2015. Yes, 2015 it is. So it'll be 2 years. He has a local. He is a local optometrist. I guess he has patients to see or something. Maybe he'll come. And myself, I'm in my second run as president at Coast Eva Invite. And here, well, Mark, you're the first one up with the financial report.
Okay.
And he's standing in kindly for Greg Journey. Couldn't make it.
Let's see. Okay. My turn. They call it Camembert in France. So let's see, I'm not the treasurer anymore, so I don't know these numbers as well as I used to, but it's not blocking anything, so I'll leave it there. So about 70, this is our income for last year. What was I going to say? So we had about $100,000 in government grants, the big blue pie slice, which is mostly Safe Routes to School. We had foundation grants, mostly McCune for our East Side Walks project, which is now, I think, going a little bit towards the west side, and also some small grants for our Safe Routes for Seniors program, which we hope to get more funding for this year. We had about $25,000 worth of donations, large and small and very small, and they all help. We had some contracting work this year that we did for the county, I think. We don't usually get contract projects, but they're always nice to get if we can get them. I think that was doing an inventory of sidewalks in different parts of the county. And also about $5,000 from fundraising. So, I think I have to get rid of this before I can do anything. So our expenses, most of our expenses were just to go along with the grants. So we get Safe Routes to School grants in, we have to spend that for Safe Routes to School for Kim and her staff and supplies and different things. There's also project staff, project expenses, We have our own staff that works on projects and also works on administration. And we spend money to do fundraising, to spend money to bring in money. So Greg pulled out those two bars, pies on the lower left. So it looks like as a percent of money that we actually spent, about 20% is overhead and about 80% actually goes towards our projects, which is pretty good. And I think even some of that admin stuff is actually for advocacy, so really it's probably lower than 20% that we spend on overhead. And that green chunk there is what we added to our reserves, which is always nice if we can add some reserves in case we don't bring in enough money next year. We'll have some cushion to live on for a while. So I think that's all for the financial report. Any questions on that part? Okay.
No questions. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think a few people came in. Anna, if you'll come up to the front, please. Yep. I see Larry Bickford is here now. Larry, if you'd raise your hand. Larry Bickford, board member. Thank you. Oh, you, yeah. We all get a round of applause. And somebody else came in. Susan Horn. Yes, can't do it. If you'll all sign in, please. Sign-in sheet on the clipboard. Somewhere around? In front of me. Okay. If you'll pass that over. And up. Don't you think you can hide? Alex Peugeot, not a board member anymore, but our senior statesman. All right, next up, we have our wonderful staff, our program reports. We'll start with Safe Routes to School. Kim Stanley, Safe Routes to School coordinator.
So Safe Routes to School is super fun. We got some really nice thank you cards for a recent presentation and class that we gave. So I'm going to pass these around because they're super heartwarming, and that's kind of the fun part about the program. There's a lot of heartwarming things because we're working with kids. And I'll show this later when I get into the junior highs. So I'm going to focus primarily on education and encouragement because those are the fun things to tell you about. This is a group of kids that participated in Walk to School Day last year from Washington School. There's a Santa Barbara Police Department officer that joined us. So this is the stuff that's not flashy, but it's like all the nuts and bolts and details that you don't really see in pictures. So I had to mention them. So transporting bicycles in a truck and a minivan to the schools. Hauling helmets, thank you Barry Remis. Schlepping rodeo gear from storage to places. To schools, thank you Eva for allowing us space in your garage to store the rodeo gear. It's a very grassroots program. Emailing teachers for the 5th time. Getting volunteers to come help out at the schools where we really need volunteers. So if anybody is interested in working with kids and volunteering out at bike rodeos and bike skills classes and pedestrian neighborhood walks, we would love to have your company.
It's lots of fun.
Doris and Bob do it all the time, they know. Attending Coast and Santa Barbara Bike Coalition education meetings. Logging data for government agencies who need data about how kids are getting to school. Attending meetings about how schools can make their school zones safe, for example, around the housing expansion project out near UCSB. Maintaining bikes is something we are now finding ourselves doing on occasion. Scheduling all these events and communicating all the details to our 3 staff members and beyond. So I just thought that that was worth not having a picture for, but telling you about all those little details that add up. So part of the education element of the presentation is helmet distributions. We offer them at all the schools. We bring beautiful, stylish helmets, and we fit them on the kids' heads, and we teach the kids how to fit them on their heads, and we teach the parents if they're there. We also do presentations for kindergarteners and first graders. It's primarily pedestrian-related presentations, but there's not any cute vests or flashiness with those photographs, so I left them out. But we do also do kindergarteners and first grade safety presentations. This is what a second grade neighborhood walk looks like. We go into the classroom, we give a presentation, and then we get to walk out into the neighborhood and practice with the kids, so they get theory and practice. And I should say too that more and more the first grade presentations, we're going out to the parking lot and discussing parking lots as often as the schools will. If the teachers are willing to give us the time, then we start parking lot safety in first. Fourth grade bike rodeos. We do present to third graders. There's no practicum for third graders at this point. Fourth graders get a safety presentation, and then they get to do a bike rodeo. The round photographs shows kids on skateboards because Cleveland School said that a lot of their kids don't bike because they've got this huge hill to go up to, and they were wondering if we could do something on skateboarding. So Nancy and I were like, well, I'm not a skateboarder. So we went to Powell Peralta skateboarders and the skateboard store and got a couple cool kids or cool young adults to help teach a skateboard class at Cleveland. Fifth graders get a safety presentation reminding them of everything they've learned so far. Sixth graders do another skills class. They get a presentation, they get a skills class on the blacktop, and then for the schools that are interested, we take their sixth graders for a ride in the neighborhood. We try to make the ride to the junior high so that those kids might be inspired to be riding their bikes to the junior high next year. We bring loaner bikes, as I said in that second slide, because we want everybody to have access to a bike. Some of the kids who rode buses couldn't get their bikes to the school. Some kids don't have a bike. So we bring bikes to all of our on-bike education programs. We got the bikes through a bike drive. We did a bike drive at a couple of schools, and we got donated bikes. Recently, we had a little bit of extra money in the coffers, and we realized that the bikes that we had donated were too small for our sixth graders. So we just bought 12 new bicycles for our sixth grade program. These are the heartwarming moments. Kids, these are Monroe kids. So we got to go over, we did a neighborhood ride, and then we went to the Wilcox property and did a little off-roading there. And then the top photo is Hope School students just getting back from a ride. Bike education in PE is a new thing for us, and It's super exciting. We've got a good relationship with the Santa Barbara Bike Coalition. It's a partnership that we are providing for a private foundation who funded the program and then asked Coast and SB Bike to help implement the program at local schools and 2 schools in Santa Maria chosen by the foundation. So we are working closely with the Bike Coalition to make that program happen. The schools in Santa Barbara are Adams, McKinley, and Franklin. Those are the 3 public schools. The 2 private schools are St. Raphael's out in Goleta and Notre Dame, right downtown on Mitchell Turena, and then 2 in Santa Maria that I'm not as familiar with. So these are fun pictures of kids, 2nd graders, learning how to ride bikes, and they love it. They're so happy and so exciting, and I gave you 2 slides because these are 2nd graders on the left from McKinley School. So SB Bike transported the bikes down to the beach. The kids walked down and then they rode their bikes along the path. These are Franklin kids that we just, did a little block ride around the school in the neighborhood.
There was a ride through Shoreline Park yesterday. Which school was that?
McKinley 2nd graders. Yeah. So that's our education in a nutshell. On to the encouragement that we do at the schools. Walk and Bike to School Day. So National Walk to School Day is every October. National Bike to School Day is every May. And here's some fun shots of kids. The top shot is Cleveland kids walking with their principal, who's been really supportive. He's been there for maybe a year, maybe this is his 2nd year. So he's been leading a walking school bus up Salinas Street with the kids. The group on the right is from Washington, and the group on the left is a family from Brandon that takes a few of their neighborhood kids and rides with them to Brandon School. That was Bike to School Day. And those parents actually help us a lot at Brandon School. Monthly walk and roll competitions. We had such great numbers annually for Walk to School Day and Bike to School Day that we thought, wow, we should really be trying to do this more often. Maybe people could find the time to do it once a month or even weekly perhaps. So we do a competition once a month from January to May. The teachers sign up to do the competition, and whatever classroom has the most participating kids at the end of May gets a field trip to Zoto's, and the runners-up get bike blender smoothie parties because we have a bike blender. So we're trying to find fun ways to encourage more people to be walking and biking to school on a more regular basis. This is just nuts and bolts of the walk and roll competition. This is part of a flyer that we sent out to the schools. And then that tally, you can't see it very well, but that's where the teachers actually go onto our website and log how many kids and do their counts. Wellness Day at the junior highs. We do educational presentations for the junior highs too. We do it in the health classes or the science classes. So it's based more on like how you see yourself in the world. Like, I can't remember the word. It'll come to me. So at the junior highs, we do presentations, but we also do some encouragement programs. So we've got our trivia wheel there that we take to wellness days, and we ask kids questions about bike or pedestrian safety. We bring our bike blenders. Those are the principal and the assistant principal out at San Marcos High School. Oh, that's actually a high school. We go to wellness day at the high schools too. And those are students, we offer helmets at the junior highs, which are not very popular. So we only bring about 20 with us, but this is a smart young woman who's going to wear a helmet when she rides her bike. Dos Pueblos, we've been working at Dos Pueblos for several years now. The last couple of years we've done Bike to School Day. Erzi did the last Bike to School Day at Dos Pueblos. We work with the leadership students. Okay, almost done. Family bike nights is another way we're encouraging. The Safe Roads to School program primarily reaches kids at schools. Family bike nights are a way to reach parents too, and it's just a really fun evening event where kids are out on bikes, parents come to the presentation. We do helmet fittings. Bike education and PE, so we have that funding from that private organization, but Coast and SB Bike are also starting to do our own program of bike ed and PE because we know how to do it now. And we were granted a Measure A fund. Coast and SB Bike have a joint Measure A fund. So we've purchased a trailer and truck. Ed has purchased a trailer and truck, which took a lot of time. And we've got a fleet of bikes that now we can take and travel around to the schools to do bike ed and PE, which is super exciting because we get the kids for consecutive sessions instead of just like one bike rodeo. Other events, we do bike trains at some of the schools. To the left, we do, there was a kid hit on a bike at Vieja Valley, so we did some bike trains there to try to get those kids to know how to ride their bike safely on their ride. Brandon School Carnival, we brought our bike blender smoothie setup. There's our bike fleet repair day, a bike for Christmas with SB Bike. They provided bikes for kids and Coast provided helmets. And that's the Safe Roads to School team in action. Top left is Jody Nelson, the latest member of the team. To the right is Barry Remis, one of the main instructors in green. Nancy Eckert in the left photo, and then myself in the right lower photo. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Kim. Yeah, we can't have a whole lot of questions, so I can take just one. You are first.
I was going to ask if you work with Lily Valley Junior High School and maybe targeted maybe Old Town, because that's a really quite a long pedestrian path. It tends to be more skateboards and walkers than bicyclists.
We do our health and sustainable transportation presentation at Goleta Valley Junior High, and we do their wellness days. We do walk to school day and bike to school day. So yes, we are at Goleta Valley. Old Town, safety in Old Town, another subset of what Coast does. I've been less involved in.
All right. I think that was very last question. Bob, yes, comment.
I want to compliment you on over 35 years of civil service PowerPoint and view graph presentations. I have never seen the word schlepping.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you got a chance to put that in.
And I'm not gonna be rude, but I have to dash out and teach at some point, so I'm gonna leave the meeting during someone's presentation.
Didn't show the poster.
Yeah.
All right.
Ran out of time.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will excuse you. We know you're busy, so when you have to dash out, you'll just have to dash. Next up, we will have Anna, if you will please come up, our East Side, West Side organizer, Anna Rico, who has been with us for 6 years now. We started in 2011, believe it or not. 6 years we've been working together. We cannot work. Let's see, is it right up next?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right here. Okay, so do you want
Yeah.
me to press? Okay. All right, you're on.
My name is Ana Rico, and for the new members, like she mentioned, I've been here for quite a few years. So we started in 2011, 2017 till now. We do neighborhood and bus meetings. We started with outreach for bus riders. That's how originally we started. Then we combine two meetings, bus riders and community. So we bring in information for the community, the moms, the parents. We do them the second Thursday of the month, 6:30. We are having our meeting tomorrow, Thursday. And we are gonna have fire department lady coming in, talking to us, giving us information, CPR classes, kind of stuff. So it's gonna be really awesome if you guys wanna come. We have done night walks. That started because it's dark in the east side, and we live there, but the city council members don't live there. So they had no idea how dark it was. So we decided let's make a night walk so they can see how dark it is. Funny thing about it, the first night walk we did was during Christmas time, and we did it when the lights were Christmas lights around, so it wasn't that dark. But then that's what we started doing. We did the findings, we reported, well actually Eva, Caitlin, Ashley, Rebecca, those are the people that have been with us, and we reported this stuff to the city. And then we also focused on intersection bridge safety, all that stuff, sidewalks, lights. For instance, we did, I don't know if you guys have heard of Cleveland, there's an APS route, there's a roundabout, and then there's a bridge. We also focus on that kind of stuff too. And so this is the stuff that we did a transportation plan with the city. And we gathered Franklin, Cleveland, and people from the community from the east side. And this is, you guys can't really see it, but, okay. This is the Cleveland footpath. This is the most recent thing that we have done. There's a group of parents who came to us at a meeting where Jason was there, and they came with the concern about Cleveland on Eucalyptus Street. There's a path where the kids walk up, and it's really bad. As you can see, there's fences that are supposed to keep the kids away from it, but the rocks are falling apart, everything, and it's pitch dark. We started having classes for parents at Cleveland, and so when they're walking down, that's how dark it is. And it's uneven lighting also. So it's one at the beginning of the hill, and then nothing at the end. So that's also something that we worked. We also went to the school board meeting for that. We asked them, it turns out that this was not a city issue, it was a school board issue. So then we gathered the parents, we gathered information, we went to the school board, we presented our issues that were happening, and luckily they agreed to help us. So they're gonna help us fix this path, and then there's also another path that goes from the top of Cleveland down to the school. They're also gonna fix that. So that's been approved, and I'm really happy for that one. And then we started working with the West Side. So this is the new stuff that we started doing. We've been trying to get connected with the West Side, and Kim left, but thanks to her, we've been able to connect with Harding parents, and it has been wonderful. We've had 3 night walks already. We reported the stuff that we have found. Very dark. There's a lot of issues there too, and I had mentioned to you that, we need to work and expand ourselves and help others as well. We have done for the east side. I think there's more people out there and more communities that needs us. And thanks to that, okay, let's do it. Then we've been working with the west side. Yep. And this is the people that have helped us. The Cleveland parents have been very supportive. MTD have been with us. Jerry Estrada has been with us also. He comes to our meetings. We had George Amoon. Now we're going to have Heller Blackaby, yes. And then the city of Santa Barbara, Peter Brown, Jessica Grant, all these wonderful people that have helped us. Jim Dewey also. Derek Bailey was wonderful, really wonderful. Cleveland School, and Gatti and Jason. Gatti has been with us from the beginning. That's it. Any questions?
Are you working with Edison on those lights?
Yes, we report them. We also handed out some flyers with numbers that the community could call. So we hand them out, they make the calls, if not, they let us know, and then or.
It
now
goes through the
John.
city.
Yes,
The city forwards it to Edison. We can't tell Edison what to do, but the
so
city
we
can.
report it, yes.
We report. That's
So the topic, how's been the reaction from people who are concerned about preserving the night sky? The LED streetlights, in some cases, are extremely bright. And I was just curious, do you feel like you're getting the best product that you can from the electrical company? They make LEDs now in a lot of different tones.
Yes, they do,
that
and I have
are
seen the
a little bit more
difference.
sensitive to the neighborhood aesthetic.
I have seen the difference. For instance, there's one on Indio Muerto in Canada. That one is very, very bright. And there's the ones that have put along Salinas. That one, they're not too bright, but I'm thinking that's because of the cars. And when the kids or the people walk by, it's a lot safer that way. But I have noticed that they have put the brighter colors in the areas where we're really, really dark. And the city has been wonderful. For instance, we had the most recent walk, and it was about lights. Not even a week later, they were fixing some of the lights that were working. So they were really, really good.
Yeah, and
Very
I just want to also comment that the city also has a design review process. So that will get vetted through that, and I know they're very sensitive to the warmth of the light and the wattages and how that plays out. So we just met with a couple staff in public works, and they are looking into doing a citywide replacement. It's still not 100% certain because the funding has to come through, but they did mention that they're going to be sensitive with that aesthetic aspect.
Yeah, there's asking questions because there's some really good technologies out there, and in some cases, it can make all the difference with the neighborhood acceptance.
right. I think neighborhoods are very different, and they have different needs, and, there's a lot of support for lighting in the east side, for example, and the more central neighborhoods in Santa Barbara, and really more need for it. And then you have the outlying places that don't need it as much. There's very little traffic at night and very little foot traffic and anything. So, and they usually are not that keen on lights. So it's not a one size fits all. That's
Oh, sure, I just don't want you to get the cheapest product.
all right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I don't think the city of Santa Barbara ever gets it. All right. Thank you very much, Anna. It's so much fun working with us and having a great time still. Our last presentation is about Vision Zero. This is one of our major campaigns that we were involved in during the past year. Vision Zero's SB started in 2014, and it was sort of an idea that whose time had come. It was something that we had been looking for but didn't quite know what it was. We had been reacting to collisions on the streets as they happened, but we were always reactive. We were running and fixing things after something terrible happened. Now, Vision Zero was different. Vision Zero offered a comprehensive vision of what should be, no more traffic collisions, and it offered a proactive approach. So this was totally different, and people felt that and really went for it. Coast picked it up in the spring of 2014, and so did Bike Coalition, and we didn't know of each other. We were both discussing it, and the advocacy committee of the Bike Coalition was also discussing it, and so we did that in parallel for some time. Then Coast came out here, right in this room, is where we first went public with Vision Zero in June of 2014, and presented the basic idea. And there was quite an enthusiastic response, especially because Vision Zero focused on the needs of non-motorized users, of the vulnerable users in the street that didn't have very much attention before, not enough attention, we felt. So that was a very new focus, and we picked that up. And when we realized that we were both working on it, we said, well, we should work together, right? Makes sense. So that's how we founded the Vision Zero Campaign Committee, and we met since then on a monthly basis. And at that time, the leader of the advocacy committee was Sam Franklin. Some of you may remember him. He was quite a character. And we started working together, laying out the campaign plan and planning the infrastructure that you need for a political campaign like this. So a website, a Twitter account, a Google group, campaign material for speakers to go out and present to different groups and so forth. So that was quite a bit of work. This is one of the things that came out of it. That's our campaign flyer. The product of bitter arguments and headbutting between us, especially between Sam Franklin, myself, and Christine Nelson, who was very active at the time. So every sentence that's in here, we argued about to no end. I was sometimes ready to just throw in the towel and say, no more. But we did come up with this, and that's only our flyer. We have a lot more material that we gave to people who wanted to present to different groups. So that's a lot more extensive, but on the flyer, of course, we had to be very short. So exactly how many words and what these words should be, every word here, you can be sure that we thought about. So that's one of our products. The other were the statistics. That also was the subject of quite a few arguments, and we are very grateful to city staff for working through that with us, because they had different figures than we did, and what exactly should count and what we should include here was also the subject of great discussion. But we did manage to agree, and they have been super helpful to us. I really have to say that without them, we couldn't have done it. So Peter Brown and Rob Dayton and Derek Beatty were really great going through their information, sharing all their information, sharing their accident maps. We have great accident maps and so forth. So they've been great working with us. So those statistics here are the product of that collaboration. All right, next slide, please. Yes, so next step, once we had all the information, we went out to the community and presented to them what we were trying to do, and we're trying to get their support. We asked them, do you support this? And in that case, they went on our partner list here, and they, so we have some heavyweights here. We were really proud of that. For example, I mean, they're all important, but there are some that, Santa Barbara School District, Chamber of Commerce, and so forth. These are key players here that we have on board with the Vision Zero campaign. So we're very pleased with that. Next slide. Okay, that's jumping ahead a little bit here. We went to City Council with the Vision Zero idea. We had met with some of the electeds before, and the City Council supported it on May 12th, 2015. So that was our first milestone. They said, yes, let's go ahead, but they didn't have time for it just yet. They had to do the bicycle master plan first, they felt. So they couldn't, ask staff to do another thing. So they said, yes, we like the idea. We direct staff to come back with more information, but you need to wait. Now that wasn't easy. We had to wait. We thought maybe 6 months. Well, it turned into more than a year that we worked on the bicycle master plan. And it's not easy to keep a campaign together and people's interest when you're waiting. Although I have to say the bicycle master plan, of course, was some Vision Zero thinking really went into that, so it informed the bicycle master plan. So we didn't just sit around. We also started working, if you go ahead, with the city of Goleta at that time. They came to us and said, hey, we're interested in Vision Zero. Can we have Vision Zero? We said, well,
Well, that's a rarity.
And so we created this flyer here for Goleta in particular. You'll see that the data are slightly different. This includes Highway 101. This is how the data come from the CHP. They didn't give us their own data like the city of Santa Barbara did. So you have a lot more motor vehicle accidents included. But still, you see the second from the left, the PED column is quite high as well, even with motor vehicle collisions included. So Goleta is still interested, they're still in process. City Council has given us a green light, they did that in October 2016. And same thing as in Santa Barbara, they asked us to come back with a more defined plan and what it would cost us. All right. Now back to, if you go just back up there, okay. Then, after this long wait in more than a year, actually in October 2016, the City Council picked out Vision Zero again. They said, first, yes, we want to still do this, so staff felt they needed to reaffirm that. They did in October 2016, and then on December 3rd, 2016, they passed this resolution here. Okay, so now officially, we are a Vision Zero city. If you'll go ahead now, one more. There, Vision Zero cities. And Peter Brown did that, and I like that so much. He went right away and entered us as a city. You can't really see it, but we are on that map. There is a Vision Zero national network, and when your city joins up, then you can sign up on that map. So Santa Barbara, we are on the map, believe it or not, here. So we're really proud of that. In 2016, when the resolution was passed, the City Council also directed staff to apply for a grant to create a Vision Zero plan and an outreach process. So they're in the process of doing that right now. They're waiting to hear back. That will be in April, so pretty soon they'll find out if there'll be some money for that or not. They will create a plan in any case, but they would rather have a little extra money for that. So that's in process now. That's where we stand. Yeah, just a moment. I'm almost done, so then I'll take your questions. So we're waiting for the results of that. This here is a reminder that it's from San Francisco. San Francisco is about 2 years ahead of us, and they have taken a report now about the first 2 or 3 years of Vision Zero, and they have not reduced collisions. They've tried, and it hasn't worked yet. So that's a reminder that a resolution is just the beginning. It's just a statement at this point. It's necessary, but not sufficient. The real work is still ahead. So we, should be well aware of that. This is not going to be easy. So we will all have to work on that. And let's hope that we will get some results and actually reduce those collisions. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, questions? Thank you, Susan.
Well, I don't know how many people already know this. Maybe my people had, and maybe I missed you saying it, but I'd like you to say what the 3 or 4 E's are that are the core principles around for Vision Zero.
Yes, please. Yeah. And you want me to say it?
Yeah.
She wanted you to say it.
Okay, well, the premise of Vision Zero is that traffic collisions are preventable. They're both predictable and preventable. They're not acts of God, they're not acts of nature. They're predictable and preventable. They're man-made. And they can be prevented through a concerted effort when several agencies work together and come up with a plan that includes engineering, education, and enforcement. All 3 have to be present. And I'm glad you reminded me, because I'm probably just too much into it than I think everybody else knows too. Yes, so that's the basic premise. Does that helps? Thank you.
I think the question was a sort of lead in mind, and that was like, okay, well, what are the methods that Vision Zero encourages cities or communities to adopt? So at least those look like the 3 headers. But what within engineering what within education and what within enforcement?
That depends on the community, and that's for every city to work out for themselves. That will be in the Vision Zero plan. So Santa Barbara's is not going to be the same as New York's. And you see there's, you know, on the map, there's now all the major cities in the US are basically in the Vision Zero
Is there
program.
someplace I can see what are 10 engineering methods, 10 enforcement methods, and 10 education methods that have been proposed?
I'll
or-
give you, yes, they do, for example, the flashing crosswalks, the high visibility crosswalks. A lot of pedestrians, you will see that, you know, pedestrians are very hard hit by the collisions. In the cities particularly, it's often 50% pedestrians. So why are pedestrians so hard hit particularly? Well, they have to get across streets regularly, and when they do, they are at risk. So we have a whole bunch of uncontrolled crosswalks that have no red light for the car, and we're relying on the drivers to see the pedestrian stop. Sometimes they don't. That's when things happen. So that's why we have flashing lights now. We have these boldly striped so-called continental crosswalks. So that's an engineering measure that one can take. There's also refuges in the center, also for pedestrians, that also helps them get across the street safely. So there's a whole bunch of engineering solutions that can be applied to help people cross the street safely. For bicyclists, it can include anything like from
Green
protected bike lanes, green lanes, bike boxes, and so forth. Those are also engineering measures. Then enforcement is, well, our own police department, I think, could use some training how to deal with pedestrian collisions or bicycle collisions. So how to recognize them. They sometimes, I think they mean well, but sometimes I think they lack the training. So I think that would come with Vision Zero, more training.
They just had an enforcement action at
Yes.
Crosswalk on
Yes.
Trail Center.
Yes.
And I got a great video of the decoy, or
Yes.
the cop,
Yeah.
and then the three
Yes.
motorcycle cops all
Yes.
peeling out after the
It's
three
very
cars.
telegenic. I love it. They're doing a good job with that. They're not always so good with everyday collisions. When some 911 call comes in, some policeman comes out, it's not a traffic expert usually, and they don't always recognize that, you know, the infraction and what happened, and sometimes they brush people off. So it has happened, it's come to our attention that this has happened, and I think we have a very well-trained police force usually, but I think in that particular respect, they could use a little more training. So that would be enforcement. Special grants, of course, special, you know, the decoy actions that you mentioned and so forth, yes. And then in education, there's also a whole education campaign attached to Vision Zero. So could be anything from public service messages to village meetings, to neighborhood meetings, to school meetings, to get the message out that it's really up to all of us.
As you know, I've been pushing for more enforcement, particularly on the east side between APS and Milton, where people habitually speed. And there was the news report where John Palmentary went out there with his camera and a car just blew through the stop without even slowing down. So that's a high priority. I'm working with our state legislators to see if we can change the speed laws, particularly around schools, because it's really hard to do now. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? I'm really pushing for the bike boulevard on Alisos, and there was some legislation that I was talking about yesterday where they're going to look at allowing bikes to go through stop signs, not traffic signals, but stop signs. It's shown to stop accidents or slow down accidents in, I think it was
Idaho.
Was Idaho? Yeah. Some state studied it and it's done a good job. So I'd support anything like that. So keep feeding me solutions, and I'm out there looking for ideas too, so let me know.
Yes. So all of these with increased enforcement, or even just better quality enforcement sometimes. I do not think actually we need more police officers. I think we need better training ones and more attention to traffic.
Well, nothing changes people's habits like a motorcycle unit parked on their.
Right.
It's a real deterrent.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're trying to get their attention for this. Sometimes traffic is a stepchild of the police department. It's just not exciting. It's not as sexy as solving murders and so forth. So we have to make noises that this is important. Actually, many more people die from traffic collisions than from murders in Santa Barbara. So it's this, traffic kills. Make noise. Yeah. Any other comments? Yes.
I had a question about the map. So what criteria do they use for a city to be able to be put on that map? Is it just passing like a resolution or something like that?
The map, this
Yeah.
map here, is you enter yourself. So when you're,
Oh.
it's on an honor system. It's when your city passes the resolution, then you can go on there and you put yourself in. So I trust that all these people here are for real, actually.
Is Galita on there yet?
Who?
Galita?
Galita is not, no. So they're being honest. They haven't passed a resolution
Oh,
yet.
okay.
You have to have that resolution. Although I would argue you really have to have a plan too. And just the resolution is just, is necessary but not sufficient. But Peter went right ahead. I think the next day he went on there and he put us in. And I get such a kick out of seeing Santa Barbara on there. So it's great. Yeah, we have gotten into question and answers already about our plans for next year, and it sort of leads into that. I do want to, this is our last big agenda item, what we should do next year. This is obviously one of the things we are involved in doing and we will continue to do. And we want to take your ideas and your suggestions, what we should be doing in addition to this. So please raise your hand if you have something to say. Yes.
I got a booklet from a white friend who went to Georgia to visit his son, and I passed it out at the White Education meeting. It'd be nice if California could put out a booklet like that for bicyclists, pedestrians, and and drivers. And it's a really neat booklet, and in fact, they even sent me a copy in Spanish, and I gave it to Christine.
Christine, would you share it with us too?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I gave it
think we'll be
to,
looking at
I gave
all
one
of
to
that.
Kim, I gave one to
Kim.
Nancy. and
Kim's been sitting on it, apparently. I have not seen it.
It'd be nice to have support for something like that, because
Yeah,
drivers, I think, need more education than most bicyclists, but not all bicyclists.
right, right. There's, for example, proposals to include more questions about how to behave around bicyclists and pedestrians in the driver's education books and on the driving test. Our driving tests are just extremely easy. They're ridiculously easy. And if you compare that with Europe, they make it really hard. So in Holland, if you want to pass your driving test and you open your car door and you don't look over your shoulder first, you flunk right away, because you need to look back. Is there a bicyclist coming, right, in your door zone? I've had so many times it happens. I can see that guy is going to open his door on me, They always do that. They just don't think of it. So I think a part of Vision Zero's work is statewide, definitely, and part of it is improving driver's education. Also, providing education to pedestrians and bicyclists, but I think mainly the dangerous ones, the ones that endanger others, are the ones with the cars. So you really want to get to those. Yes, Larry.
Our website had a section that hasn't been used in a number of years, which is allowing citizens to report accidents. I think that would be good to get that functioning and promote that across the media to become a community resource. Because A, we need to have that kind of data, because I can't seem to get that from the police department in Santa Barbara. And B, it's a good opportunity to promote Coast. So people have a way of reporting what they see.
Yes, And we had some technical issues there in that any signups, anyone who provided input on the website, it went to one of our previous staff members, that's long gone. So it went into cyberspace and nobody ever saw it. Barry, our new administrator, he finds all these things and he fixed it. So it's now we can get messages, and the next step would be, I think this is a great idea to have that on the coast website for people to mark collisions on a map or just report collisions, whatever it takes to get their input through our website. Goleta, actually, the city of Goleta is planning to put out a map, I think, for where people can enter near misses and problems of various kinds, like you mentioned. So there, it's the government putting it up, but I think it would be a great job for coast to do.
I had a question. Is there, this was like part of my future meeting, but is there any advocacy work being done in terms of like trying to increase routes for like public transportation, particularly with the bus? And then also, is there anything being done in terms of like rideshare and trying to encourage that more? Just because like at UCSB, we have like unofficial rideshare groups that like people use to like for going out of town. And I just feel like Santa Barbara is such a nice place, but like I think that a lot of people really need a car in order to like get to a lot of places, and the bus is really only good for like, at least as a student, for getting like from the campus to downtown. It makes it really inaccessible. So I don't know if there's anything being done in terms of advocacy for encouraging more rideshare or increasing the amount of routes offered by the bus. Or what might be the best direction to get information on that?
Right. Well, our organizations are into that too, of course. It's not part of Vision Zero so much. Vision Zero is very, okay, I'll have you in a minute, is focused on reducing collisions. That's the mission and that's what we do. But both Coast and SP Bike are very much into it. And,
yeah, I was going to say that's kind of an area I'm interested in is multimodality. The acceptance that none of us use one form of transportation. So I've started conversations with SBCAG, who is our metropolitan planning organization, which also happens to overlap with the county. So there's they have a branch called Traffic Solutions that has done some work in that area, but I think sorry, just stopped recording. So I think there's definitely room to play. Ridership has been down nationwide in terms of transit. So MTD, I don't know if there's anybody from MTD here today, but I know that's something they are, trying to work on is exploring new ways of marketing, and because they're hurting as well, just because people have just opted to use services like Uber and Lyft rather than taking the bus.
Yeah. Maybe this is a good time to say a word about rail. Joanna,
yeah.
Are you ready?
I'll point it up this way.
Yes, because that obviously ties in with what you're saying is, how people get here and how can they get here without a car?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about rail and what's coming down the line. So many of you probably already heard that SBCAG hired a consultant, and so we recently met with them, and they didn't really have any new updates other than what they've been working on already, which is trying to do retiming of existing Amtrak trains to better serve commuter services, but it just sounds like dealing with Union Pacific has been, one of the major barriers to making some more progress in having a robust commuter rail system. But I'd also be interested to hear if anybody here has anything regarding rail specifically that they'd like to see pushed forward in the next year. We'd like to see Coast, specifically like to see Coast do in the realm of rail.
Rail advocates. Oh, yeah.
Any interest in extending Metrolink to Santa Barbara instead of Ventura?
Metrolink, I'm not certain of the feasibility of that at this time, but can definitely follow up on that. I know that part of the, the why it works so it it's not Union Pacific owned. So that's basically if you have a situation where they're like, okay, we're gonna have to stop and wait until this like freight train goes past because they take precedent. So that's part of why also like customer service wise, it's sometimes onerous for people to take the train because, I mean, speaking like anecdotally, like myself, I took the train a couple of weeks ago down to LA and we sat in the Santa Barbara station for like an hour and a half waiting for something.
But I thought it was my understanding that if they want Metrolink up here, the city or someone has to pay Metrolink to do the extension. And this is my understanding from the people at Metrolink, so I don't know.
Yeah, Metrolink was one of the ones that.
Let's have
And
Matt.
there are issues around the County of Ventura not passing on the ballot last year. They had, in November, they had a county sales tax measure that would fund transportation, much in the way that like Measure A funds transportation here, but it didn't pass. And so I think that not passing may affect Metrolink service even to Ventura, which could preempt it from even getting to SB, even if we could work out all those issues. But you know, I'm not sure. I'm not following it.
Yeah, Ventura County also has to pay Union Pacific to use the rails. They have to pay them a lot, so they may discontinue their rail
So I mean,
service.
it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's so close, but, you know, that's something I'm really hoping, like SBCAG, Joanne is following this closely and we're interested in working on it together. SBCAG just agreed to pay a contract, some contract services to continue exploring bringing commuter rail here. And so hopefully those are the kind of ideas that they're
Well, I'm a little
considering.
confused on this because it's my understanding that it's actually Caltrans, that has the Amtrak trains, and they contract with Amtrak to provide the service. But it was also my understanding that Caltrans also does the Metrolink, so that's where I'm a little confused on that one.
Matt.
And, you know, maybe in the agenda, you can get another rail update.
Yeah.
Scott Spalding and SBCAG. And I think, you know, you all are pointing out really good problems and really good issues. And I think it's, you know, you sort of have a lot of things working against you in this region. We're small peanuts. You just don't have the population densities to play with the larger entities in the larger metropolitan areas to get the resources. You're referring to Caltrans Division Rail. They coordinate with the Amtrak. Metrolink is a different deal. And whoever mentioned that they got to buy the tracks, they got to buy the tracks because it's this perfect storm of opportunity that hit at the right time. UP was starved for cash. They sold the tracks for a song, and it made a rapid advancement in rail possible down in the LA area. So, you know, SBCAG has some really smart staff who have been working on this for years, and they just can't get this thing going. So I think the question that you all may want to be asking of the consultant and of the new executive director, Marcy, who's totally committed to getting this done. She really wants to make this happen, is how do we do something different that hasn't been tried in the last few years? And is there perhaps sort of a political angle, an advocacy angle that Post and the rest of the groups here can provide so that some unique and new pressure can be applied to the people who are either saying no or having totally unrealistic expectations about the money that this region has to pay for rail. I mean, the counter offer that came from UP, I believe, was $100 million for 5 years of track time, and they know over the entire life of Measure A, we got $25 million to go to rail. So that's not authentic bargaining. That's not an interested party coming to the table. That's someone who's sticking it in your face. So how do you do it different to perhaps shake this thing out and make a proposal actually go forward? I think it's probably one of the most important transportation issues facing this region in the next 5 years. The highway project's under development. It's rolling. Money's going to come in. We're going to figure out a way to build a highway project for the next dozen years. But this rail thing needs help.
All right, yeah, Joanna, this is also then your closing remarks
Oh.
and announcements. So go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that actually next month for our general meeting, we are going to have Scott Spalding and Margie Kern from SBCAG come and speak. So if anybody in this room is really interested about rail, I'd say come with your questions ready. And that will be on the second Wednesday of next month at noon, which will be, let me pull my calendar out. Let's see. Will be, I think, April 12th.
Yep.
All right, 12.
Yeah.
April 12th.
April 12th at noon, so that should be a good one. And also, we're going to now be recording all of these meetings and putting them on the Coast website and on YouTube as well. So we want to make these more accessible to people who can't be here.
Right. Any other announcements, Joanna? Anything else you want to share?
Oh, yes. I'll flip this back around this way. Sorry. Maybe I'll get one of my friends next time to help me out.
He's doing multiple duty here as
so
cameraman and...
So I just wanted to announce, and I don't know if you want to say something about tomorrow's meeting.
Like I mentioned earlier, we're hosting a meeting tomorrow with MTD and Liliana from the fire department. That's a meeting that we're gonna have tomorrow at the library, which is 1102 East Montecito Street, 6:30 to 7:30. If you guys wanna come.
Says 6 on that.
6:30. Oh,
Sorry.
it's 6:30 to 7:30.
6 p.m.?
But I'll be there at 6.
Yeah.
I set everything up, I bring in food, I bring in items for the kids to come, and the reason why I bring food is because as a parent myself, I know that we have the longest schedule, the longest days ever, and we don't want to go to meetings sometimes because we're starving, we're hungry, we want to go home and have dinner. Or as a woman, we have to go home and make dinner for everybody else who's in our house. So I make it easier for you guys just to come, sit down, enjoy, have dinner with us while we're discussing what we're going to be working on or talking about.
Yeah.
So I make it as accessible as I possibly can.
Thank you, Anna. Any other announcements?
Oh,
Eve,
I-
did you have something? Oh, Joanna?
I had a couple more.
Go ahead, go ahead. No.
Yeah, so I just also wanted to announce, some of you have been to these Walking Wednesdays, we're going to have our kickoff later this month on Wednesday, March 22nd. The name of the title of the walk Dave Davis gave me was Fest, Funk, and Fun. So Dave Davis is going to be leading us on a walk around the Santa Barbara waterfront, starting at the Amtrak station, 209 State Street at 5:30. And from there, we're going to go look at La Entrada and then head over by Skaters Point, Chase Palm Park, Fest Parker, back over into the Fun Zone. And this is also a fundraiser for Coast. Our Figaro Mountain Brewing Company will be donating a portion of beer sales to Coast. So if you like beer and you like sustainable transportation, use both, drink some beer, and come join us. And yeah, and just one more brief announcement I wanted to make. We've kind of just been discussing different ways everyone can get involved in Coast. We appreciate everyone coming to the meetings, and so some people are pressed for time, so we say if you're pressed for time, but you care about these issues, donate whatever small amount you can to Coast or become a member. And if you have some time but you don't have a lot of money, check in with me or Eva, and we can help you get connected to volunteer opportunities or let you know about advocacy opportunities to participate in our public decision-making process. So that's enough. That's all I have now.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other announcements from anyone here? No?
I can get two really quick ones. The first is that on Tuesday, March 21st, 6 p.m., Santa Barbara City Hall is going to be hearing, or is going to be considering a tenants protection ordinance. I know a lot of us have heard about AED, and this kind of ties into some of the issues that people are sort of just starting to talk about with the AED program, but it would ensure that you need just cause for evictions, and it would improve code enforcement. So I have some handouts. If you work with people who are interested, let me know. And you can grab some for me. The other thing is Thursday, March 23rd, it's the day after Walking Wednesday. SB Bike will be having an advocacy meeting in Carpinteria. That's going to start at 6 p.m. and it's at Island Brewery Company, and it's I'm sorry, am I talking too fast?
No,
Alex, I hope you're not driving.
Oh, I know. Yeah, definitely plan your ride or your bike ride carefully. And we're going to be talking about the Rincon Bike Path. We're also going to be talking about Open Streets, which is on April 1st, and a little bit about the Linden Casitas Overpass Bike and Pedestrian Connections. So,
What was the last one?
Linden Casitas Overpass Bike Facilities, biking and walking. And you know, I know that's a lot of information, so sbbike.org if you want to look at it.
Does anybody, Anna, are those the thank you?
Yes,
things?
this is
Because
the thank you notes.
Kim asked me to collect them.
Eva, can you hand it to me?
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we're done. Thank you all.